ल है त अब हामी स्टार्ट गर्छौँ कार्यक्रम हामी चाहिँ अब इन्फर्मल्ली नै स्टार्ट गर्छौँ स्टार्ट गर्नु अगाडि चाहिँ यो कार्यक्रम के हो भनेर थोरै भन्न चाहन्छु यो चाहिँ नलेज सेयरिङ हामी पनि जियो स्पासियल फिल्डमा अब नलेज सेयरिङको लागि सानो एकदम छोटो समयमै डिसाइड गरेर गरेको कार्यक्रम हो तर पनि यत्रोजना सबैजना आउनुभएको छ सबैलाई स्वागतम छ कार्यक्रममा अनि यो कार्यक्रममा चाहिँ हाम्रो कोपर्निकस डेटा स्पेस इकोसिस्टमको बारेमा हाम्रो दिदी इन्जिनियर दिदी प्रतिथ्या शर्मा बोल्दै हुनुहुन्छ उहाँ चाहिँ जियोमेटिक्स इन्जिनियर फ्रम डब्लुआरसी होइन करेन्टली वर्किङ एज अ रिमोट सेन्सिङ डाटा इन्जिनियर एट द रिमोट सेन्सिङ युनिट अफ भिटो होइन अनि उहाँको रोल चाहिँ इन्भल्भ कन्ट्रिब्युटिङ टु दि ओपनइओ एन्ड ट्रान्सस्कोप EOplaza project. Moreover, the Terrascope EOplaza has now evolved into a openEO Algorithm Plaza within the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. होइन अब hence in this presentation Pratichhya Didi aim to introduce you to a new Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem which is I think I can say that it's very similar to GE, right, Didi?
Yes. Not very similar.
But somewhat similar.
I don't think I'm in the position to compare, but त्यो part पनि आउला बरु.
Okay, ल अब विदाउट फर्दर डिले अब दिदीलाई चाहिँ म फ्लो दिन्छु अनि दिदीले सबै हामीलाई आफ्नो त्यो नलेज सेयर गर्नुहुन्छ ल हस् दिदी फ्लो इज योर्स.
Thank you भाइ. It's fine नि म नेपालीमै भने नि हुन्छ कि
एकदम नेपालीमै सबैजना नेपाली नै छ होला यहाँ.
हेलो नमस्ते सबैलाई. हुन त म पनि त्यति साह्रै राम्रो मान्छे पनि हैन नेपाली बोल्नमा खतमै छ नेपाली पनि. राम्रोसँग नपढेपछि इङ्ग्लिस पनि खतम नेपाली पनि खतमै हो. तर के भन्छ फेरि पनि हेलो एभ्रीवन म चाहिँ निकै भनिसके प्रतीक्षा हो. किन इको आएछ अर्को पनि
इको हजुरलाई मात्र आछ होला खोइ यतातिर आछ छैन मलाई चाहिँ आछ छैन अरुको
हैन क्लियर छ दिदी एकदम क्लियर.
Okay, then maybe मेरो एफिके electronics. It's okay. So, as I was saying, म प्रतीक्षा शर्मा. अहिले चाहिँ म currently sorry ल यहाँ किन उयो अहिले चाहिँ म currently VITOमा काम गर्छु. VITO भने बेल्जियममा भएको फ्लेमिश इन्स्टिट्युट हो. एउटा टेक्निकल इन्स्टिट्युट हो. And take already said, मेरो main job चाहिँ openEO related हो. And openEO is now a part of Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. त्यही भएर I am also a part of Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. And I won't say that I am expert of Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem, but मलाई जे पनि थाहा छ, I thought it's nice to share among you all because मैले time to time हाम्रो यो OSgeo को प्लेटफर्ममा चाहे त्यो मेसेन्जरमा होस् डिस्कर्डमा होस् मेन्सन गरिरहेको हुन्छु. ऐटिकले भने हो गुगल अर्थ इन्जिन जस्तै हो नि है भनेर भन्यो. त्यो गुगल अर्थ इन्जिन जस्तै कुन चाहिँ चिज चाहिँ गुगल अर्थ इन्जिन जस्तै होला तर गुगल अर्थ इन्जिन हो भनेर भन्न किन मिल्दैन भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ मेबी आई क्यान कम्पेयर. तर त्यो भन्दा भन्दै I would say that I cannot compare between two platforms completely. है त्यो दुईटै आफै इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट हो. Google Earth Engine is owned by Google Earth Engine. It's a commercial आफ्नै ठाउँमा छ. Copernicus is something else. It's a government thing. I cannot compare with both of them. तर कुन चाहिँ कुरा तिमीहरूले रिलेट गर्छौ होला गुगल अर्थ इन्जिन र यसको त्यो चाहिँ मैले भन्न सक्छु किनकि you might have been using Google Earth Engine very well and very much new to Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. Then maybe that could be a relating part. Like is that one geometry? Nilamandal? Okay. I guess he agrees. Someone screen share gare. Let me share my entire screen so that I can later. Take some मेरो screen. Somebody come from.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So this is nothing. So मैले मेरो बारेमा more or less भनिसके. So I think let's directly jump into what is the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. So मैले भने जस्तै यो presentation चाहिँ it's not deeply about भनेको different components, but it's kind of to give an idea of what is there. Yes, the different data API
दिदी एकछिन है दिदी क्षितिज
yes, I think Neelam or someone is very much excited.
Okay, now I think we are good. क्षितिज त्यो नामहरू एक्सेप्ट गर्ने बेलामा चाहिँ त्यो राम्रोसँग नाम हेरेर अनि इफ नेपालीहरूलाई मात्रै एक्सेप्ट गरे हुन्छ अनि नाम हेरेर मात्रै एक्सेप्ट गरौँ अस्ति एनजिएसको कार्यक्रममा नि त्यस्तै भयो थियो
Participation sabai ठाउँको सबैलाई welcome छ, but please try to mute yourself first, please. I can understand the बिर्सिन्छौँ कहिलेकाहीँ आफ्नै सुरमा हुँदाखेरि, but
होइन
let's
कहिलेकाहीँ
try
यतिकै
to
एट्याक पनि गरिरहेछ क्या दिदी उनीहरूले लास्ट टाइम पनि एनजिएसको कार्यक्रममा यस्तै भयो थियो अनि 4-5 जना नै आएर एकदम स्क्रिन सेयर गर्ने ऱ्यान्डमली बोल्ने गरिरहेको थियो सो त्यस्तो नहोस् भन्नको लागि मात्र
Yes, I think I'll say Kshitij सबैलाई mute गरेर and it's fine. Thank you very much, Kshitij. So I think I can continue.
Okay.
Let me again share my entire screen किनकि म पछि पुरै प्लेटफर्म पनि देखाउन चाहन्छु. So going back to the slide. फेरि पनि हाइलाइट गरेँ मैले चाहिँ पुरै इन डेप्थ डिटेल्स देखाउँदिनँ यो प्रेजेन्टेसनमा र मैले जुन पनि पार्टहरू देखाउँछु म त्यो सबैमा एक्सपर्ट पनि होइन. But being a part of it, I know something about it. That's why I want to share with every one of you so that तिमीहरूलाई पनि freely जाऊ त्यहाँबाट कसरी युज गर्ने. Since it is open source, data are freely available, I think it's your right and you should use it. So my presentation will first start with what is exactly about Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. One that answers the development Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem use gara त्यहाँ भित्र भएको चीज use gara तर के हो तर कुन कन्सेप्टले यो Copernicus भन्ने चीज आयो Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem भन्ने प्रोजेक्ट आयो भन्ने कुरा I will briefly talk about that in there, following by the different features that it has, that would be data, API and application. Having said that, के पोइन्ट्सहरू हुन्छ जुन चाहिँ यो तीनटा फिचरले कभर अप नगर्ला जुन चाहिँ मेबी माइट नट बी भेरी मच हेल्पफुल फर यु तर चाहिन सक्छ सो त्यसको बारेमा पनि नलेजफुल भयो है भनेर आई हेभ कपाल अफ स्लाइड्स ओभर देयर अनि मैले यहाँ त भन्छु अब यो छ यहाँ छ यसरी युज गर यता गर भनेर बट त्यसको बेसिसमा मात्र भोलि पर्सि तिमीले गएर आफै युज गर्नको लागि त्यो हेल्पफुल नहुन सक्छ यु क्यान एन्काउन्टर सेभरल इस्युज त्यो बेला कसबाट जाने को भट्याँ जाने कता टिकट क्रिएट गर्ने कतापट्टि फोरममा गएर कुन फोरममा गएर मैले क्वेसन गर्ने या फिर होइन यो सल्युसन मसँग भएको छैन या फिर यो डेटा तपाईँले एभाइलेबल हुन्छ भनेको छैन किन छैन भनेर क्वेसन गर्न पर्यो भने सपोर्ट कहाँ पाइन्छ भन्ने कुरा पनि आई विल कभर अप इन माई प्रेजेन्टेसन सो स्टार्टिङ विथ Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem को मेन कन्सेप्ट कसरी रिलेट गर्न मिल्छ भन्दाखेरि I hope most of you are already aware of what is remote sensing and satellite data भनेको के हो. So satellite data अहिले यति धेरै भएको छ कि you can just imagine every day माथि every day even Copernicus के itself 6वटा satellite छ 6वटा satellite बाट every day petabytes of data आउँछ अनि every day को data compared to the whole year you can imagine how much it is difficult to store as well as to process. Store गर्ने त आफ्नै ठाउँमा छ just imagine even एउटै ठाउँमा चेन्ज कसरी भयो भन्नको लागि दुईटा डेटा चाहिन्छ त्यो दुईटा डेटा तिमीहरूले डाउनलोड गर्नको लागि पनि you need a good processing laptop and everything. You should have a good infrastructure and it becomes difficult. Another thing is एउटा डेटा एउटा प्लेसमा छ अर्को डेटा अर्कै ठाउँमा जस्तै तिमीले ल्यान्ड मोनिटरको डेटा एउटा क्लिम्समा गरेर लिन्छौ होला एटमोस्फेरिकको डेटा अर्को ठाउँमा गरेर लिन्छौ होला हरेकले डिफ्रेन्ट क्रेडेन्सियल युज गर्छ and it becomes more difficult. So आइडिया के थियो भन्दाखेरि सबै डेटालाई एउटै ठाउँमा ल्याएर राखौँ अनि हरेक डिफ्रेन्ट पार्टी जुन पनि छ त्यो एउटै डेटा राख्ने युजिङ द सेम क्रेडेन्सियल र डेटाको मात्र पोइन्ट होइन यसपालि चाहिँ हामीलाई प्रोसेसिङ पनि सबै त्यहीँ हुन पर्यो भनेर भयो त्यो सबै कताबाट गर्ने त नि भनेर एउटा प्लेटफर्म बिल्डअप गरौँ भनेर यो Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem भन्ने कन्सेप्ट आएको कता कता सुन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I can imagine why you relate it with Google Earth Engine किनकि Google Earth Engine मा सबै डेटा त्यही छ, सब प्रोसेसिङ त्यही भइरहेको छ, and it's just a Google account that you are using. त्यो हुँदा हुँदै किन अर्को प्लेटफर्म भन्ने होला? तर just give a side look. Google Earth Engine मा आउने Sentinel-1 डेटादेखि लिएर इभन ल्यान्ड मोनिटरिङ सर्भिसदेखि लिएर ल्यान्ड कभर म्यापहरू यी सबै आउने भनेको यो डिफ्रेन्ट क्लिन CMS डिफ्रेन्ट कोपर्निकस बडिजहरूबाट हो. सो कोपर्निकस बडिजले चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट डेटा दिइरहेको छ, त्यसले आफ्नै एउटा अर्गनाइजेसन बनाएर हामी एउटै ठाउँमा राख्छौँ है भन्ने लजिक बनाएको भएर कोपर्निकस डेटा भन्ने आएको. एन्ड इट कम्स अन्डर द प्रोग्राम अफ कोपर्निकस. कोपर्निकस प्रोग्रामले चाहिँ
Sorry,
यस
I want to interrupt you.
भनौँ
We have a request in the chat. Can you share the presentation in like English? We have some few participants are from Geomatics
okay.
organization, so it would be helpful for them. So,
Okay.
okay.
Yes, I can for sure. I can totally
thank
switch
you.
up to this.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know. So yeah, welcome to the other parts. Okay. I will share my screen, but I think I will start from the part where I left. That is about the Copernicus program. So Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem was the main program behind the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem project is itself the Copernicus program, and many of you might already know about the Copernicus program because it not just provides you with the data and the processing power, but also it has influence in the academia sector. Me myself being an example because I had done my master's in Copernicus Digital Earth program. It is one of the programs that is funded by the Copernicus program where we are encouraged to use the Copernicus data. That is mostly the Sentinel data. And many of you, I know that many Nepali are still applying or have been selected for the Copernicus Digital Earth program. And I really wish somebody this year as well would go there because this is a wonderful opportunity to get to know the satellite data from very near, as well as to evaluate and to work with the people who have been preparing this data or preparing the product out of it. I'm continuing, but I hope you were able to follow up with me. Please can you go back to okay. I can see a thumbs up from Dick, so I guess it's okay, and I go back to my window. I'm sharing the entire screen because I have a couple of things to show you in the website as well. So please don't mind for seeing the whole screen. So that was about Copernicus program, and introducing you to the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. Main features is that, sorry, I'm just a little bit overwhelmed with the whole scenario that just happened. So introducing you with the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem, I would like to highlight the fact that the main reason that we are here playing now is so that you don't have to deal with the fact that you always download your data and also process in your computer. We already have a separate infrastructure provided for you where you can do all the processing that you want by directly fetching the data where it is already available. And it is a long-term perspective that is so that the users who are using it can trust us. Also because whatever process you do or whatever data you share within the infrastructure, it will be your property. It won't be handled by any one of us. So I can say that is also one of the plus point of not relying on the commercial partners and having the open source. That's one of the advantages because you have the right to your data and you don't have to, it won't be sold for that reason. So that is why we want to gain your trust. That's one more thing. And it provides you with a couple of platforms where you can do high quality operational service, which will be followed by in my other slides. So in conclusion, you don't have to download the data. There are various APIs inbuilt for performing several processes. There is also a virtual machine provided for you and a Jupyter Lab environment where you can use it and you can do all the tasks that you want to do instead of running it in your own computer, then yeah, image tools, that would be a normal one because you are dealing with the satellite data. So first thing would be the data itself, because I'm going on talking about the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. So what are all the data that are included within the ecosystem? That would be the main part. And what are the additional data that would come along with the Sentinel data itself? So Copernicus contributing missions, these are the six different mission or ground components that have been providing data, that has been providing products that are derived from the Sentinel data. One of them that most of us in Nepal at least have been using widely is the land cover map prepared by the CLIMS, Copernicus Land Monitoring Service, and which is led by VITO. So I'm probably saying that, I'm sorry. But yeah, those kind of data will be available here. You don't have to now go to the CLIMS website or to the Copernicus Emergency Management Service website to fetch different data. You can get all of those here in the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem with the same credential and perform the same and use the APIs that are inbuilt here. In addition to that, there will also be federated data and complementary data. So these are some of the data that will be provided by third parties, such as the Planet and GeoEye and all the other different commercial bodies that they are there. They will be providing. I will further highlight on what are those data. Having said that, I won't go very much deep into it. There will also be auxiliary data and engineering data. So you can have access to raw data, but it is not provided publicly. Those data you need to request. Why do you want to use those data? Because you can imagine raw data and the level 1 data, it could be of high importance, but if it is for a small research purpose, then you might get it. However, it cannot be used for business purposes. And there are several APIs that we have within the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem that I will highlight in my next slides. Then we have the ecosystem browser. So imagining that you all have already dealt with the satellite data. So there was, and maybe especially with the Sentinel data itself. So initially we had something called Copernicus Open Data Hub, because I remember this from the time when I was working with the remote sensing data back in WRC. So we used to download Sentinel data from the Sci-Hub or Copernicus Open Data Hub. It no more exists. So it no more exists because the Open Hub has been closed since October 2023 because it has migrated as the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem browser. So while if you were handy with that platform, then you won't find any issue in fetching your data or exploring your data within the Copernicus ecosystem browser, because it's exactly the same thing with the additional feature or the modification to make it much better within the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. And I know the terminology like Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem is quite long. However, we are supposed to stick to the whole terminology at this moment due to some government regulation, but that's how I'm defining, so please don't get annoyed with it. And we have some more code labs and resources. There you can find openEO. openEO provides you not just with web editor, but also it is a software in the form of source code. So you can use it with different client to fetch the data, to apply different processes. So it will be provided to you as an API as well as a web editor for those users who don't want to deal with these coding aspects and everything, who find it easier in, excuse me, very quickly. So who find it easier in dealing with the graphical user interface, so that you can directly drag and drop the code and want to do everything, all the processing. Where are these resources coming from? So one of the main is the CreoDIAS. So CreoDIAS was initially only responsible for DIAS, And if you were ever studying the big data analysis, big data infrastructure or big data processing, then you might have come across this terminology, because within here they explain how data are divided and how data was available in Mundi and Geomundi, Mondo, and all those things. So this is the main platform that was previously handling it. Now it will be handling all the data storage as well as all your processes, and your personal Jupyter notebook will be stored in that server. We also have the Open Telecom Cloud, which is one of the biggest telecom provider of Europe. So they are also in charge of providing the infrastructure. So these two will be there. So you don't have, if you're using for research purpose, then I would say you don't have to deal about having data or processing them or space that might be needed. However, if you are doing for business purpose, then yeah, we might come to that later maybe. That is overall open ecosystem of the Copernicus. Going much more deeper with the data itself. So as I said, the first thing would be Sentinel data itself. They are immediately available. So this question was also raised in the Discord of OSgeo, and I think it was between Hilson and Chithis, that how long might it take for the data to be there. So this data set, this Sentinel 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5P are immediately available, immediately in the sense when they are receiving the ground stations, so they will be available within the data space ecosystem within 30 minutes. By 30 minutes, they will be there. That's what we can say. And another data that would also be immediately available are this Cloudless, Mosaic, or Sentinel-2 for the whole world. And we have the Copernicus contributing missions, digital Earth, digital elevation models, and all the different products that are provided by this different Copernicus contributing services. As I earlier said, there are also Sentinel auxiliary and engineering data that will be immediately provided free of charge. So if you want, you can go forward and use all whatever data is available there. So please don't get hesitant to explore this data, what they might be used in. Though I mentioned here only Sentinel 1, 2, 3, and 5P, we also do have Sentinel-6, which has not yet come into the scene of how it can be utilized and everything, but Sentinel-6 data is also already available in the Copernicus ecosystem. And we do have on-demand data access service, so this might be restricted for, as I said, some people might want to do business or some government-related activities. So for those, these data are restricted. That is level 0 and level 1 data. And the commercial data that's provided by Airbus, Worldview, and Planet. You can come and buy those data. I'm really sorry that these data you need to pay for these data, especially the commercial data, but you can imagine they are already very expensive since they are commercial companies. However, the concept is that they will also be available within the ecosystem. So if there is any organization out there who want to use it for their purpose, then yeah, this will be available here. So along with the other features of the data ecosystem, you can access these data as well. And I think I didn't mention it here, but Landsat data is also already there. And we will be incorporating a lot of other products that is provided from Terrascope. Terrascope is the Belgium space research agency, from the Belgian research agency, that we are planning to provide all the data that is in Terrascope that will also be incorporated over here. That one of them is the land cover map itself. Now moving to the APIs that you can find within the ecosystem. So they are the data access as well as processing APIs. And I have mentioned here only the data access APIs. They are the Stack, OData, OpenSearch, S3, and OData for their downloading. So S3 and OData are especially responsible for downloading. However, if you want to search a list or include in your ETL workflow, then you can always go forward with Stack, OData, and OpenSearch. I'm not very sure how many of you have already used the OData, but I hope most of you are already familiar with the OpenSearch. And for Stack, please be with us. I think we might, we in the sense OSgeo Nepal might come up with something to give a short introduction on what is Stack, how it can be used, because this is one of the growing technology or growing terminology that is used in the remote sensing community. And I think in future days, this would be one of the main or one of the key things that you need to know while performing remote sensing related activities. So if you are a remote sensing enthusiastic, so I think you should, though it is your first time hearing the term Stack, you should not limit to this. So hopefully we will come back again with one training us of the introduction of Stack, or maybe how to use it. Nevertheless, please don't wait for us. Go out there. There is a lot of resources available. There is Stack Catalog already available there, so you can explore what is Stack Catalog, as well as if you're already using the commercial platform, as we discussed in the beginning of this something, Google Earth Engine or Planetary Computer itself from the Microsoft, they already provide this Stack URL, so you can try to explore how it works and what are the features, all those things. I won't go much deeper in here. And then the different other different kind of APIs that we have are the data access as well as the processing APIs. Processing APIs are very much helpful when you don't want to directly download all the data, but you just want to download a portion of the data, or you just want to download your result in simple sense. So the two main processing APIs we have in ecosystem is Sentinel Hub API and openEO API. So for Sentinel Hub API as well, our Sentinel Hub team might be interested. If you are interested, then they are willing to come, and maybe we can arrange a different session for it on how you can use the Sentinel Hub API. Browser, I would say go yourself and explore, because browser, we can bring somebody to explain you what is Sentinel Hub browser and everything. However, for the API, yes, we might think of arranging different events sometime in future. With openEO, as I said in the beginning of this talk, I'm responsible. So if anyone is interested, please contact us, because, or we will definitely have in OSgeo, we might have a session with this. However, I should also know that, okay, there are people out there who are interested in dealing with openEO, because at this point, I know there are very limited people in Nepal who are willing to talk about openEO. And as far as I know, there is just one or two projects that is dealing with the openEO in Nepal. So I won't go much into detail with these APIs, because I can go on talking about, there are OData, Stack, OpenSearch for visualization, different, bring your data cog as well is there. But I think if I go on saying all this different terminology, it can be overwhelming if you haven't heard something. I know a lot of knowledge, a lot of information at one can be too much. So I would just guide you that what you can find, and you can go back to the documentation. I will take you there. You can explore whichever feature you want and come back to us and say, okay, we want to learn more on this topic. How should I go? Or where should I go? Okay, I found the data. How should I fetch them? And all those things. So then we can maybe go much more deeper into it, or we can think about how can we help you out with that. But I think I want to highlight one more fact. So as I said that there are different data available there. However, if you go to the browser, then maybe this in the browser, as a user who just want to use graphical user interface, these data will be available there in the Copernicus browser. But all the auxiliary data and the Copernicus service, they are provided to you in the S3 bucket. So I'm sorry, but you might have to learn a bit of what is S3 bucket and how to deal with it. We do have a short documentation, and we're trying to improve that. So in that documentation, we have mentioned how you can go to the S3 bucket and fetch the data. So all the Copernicus service, Sentinel data, and engineering data, you might have to go to the S3 bucket. The Sentinel data itself, you can find it in the browser or can have direct access from the Sentinel Hub API, openEO API. But with time, we are trying to bring all these data as well from API. Yes, we are trying to get all this data so that you can access with API. However, if you want to directly download, then at this moment it's just OData and OData and S3 bucket. So you should at least use one of those. And most of them are already in S3 bucket, and it might be sometimes a bit complicated when doing with OData. Stack is still in process of improvement and it will be there soon, but you can already explore it. So that was more or less about API. I don't want to jump more into it, as I said. But yeah, from Sentinel API, this is one of the thing that I really appreciate, and I think it's very interesting because bring your own data API is something which allows you to bring your own data from outside. Even if the data is not available here and you want to process, then you can bring your data, whether it be in openEO or Sentinel Hub. You can bring your data. It should be hosted anyhow somewhere, and it should follow the stack standards. Then you can bring the data in here and process it, even if it is outside. It can be maybe you might have an aerial image. So you want to process that. You can bring it. That's possible. And as I said, with openEO, there is a lot to deal with. And I don't think I can cover everything up here. So I just want to, in this presentation, as I said, I just want to walk you through of different aspects that is there within the ecosystem. And I'm really sorry if you're hearing the noise. So some work is going on there. So it's just, but when you are searching openEO in the internet, there can come two things. One is openEO platform and openEO in CDS itself. So please don't get confused with that. How openEO works is same, irrelevant of whether it is openEO platform or openEO itself in CDSE. So openEO here in this context is an instance that we have in Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem, but openEO itself is, I would say, a big consortium in itself, involved of different parties who might not be involved in Copernicus Data Space at this moment. And openEO platform hasn't yet been integrated. Platform itself hasn't yet been integrated in the ecosystem. However, openEO instance is already there. So you can ask me a question that what is the difference between platform and the instance available here? So for the instance available here, at this moment, openEO can access the data only available in Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. With the platform, as I said, it can access data from any data center in the world if we have a contract with. At the moment, we are mostly working with the Belgium data center and EUDC data center and EURAC data center of Italy. So there are a couple of which are already officially announced and they are there. So openEO platform includes different other data structure as well. You can access Google Earth Engine data as well from there. However, yeah, there can be a lot of, as you saw just now, what could happen when you go sometimes with Google. It's not always, I'm not saying, but yeah, that's the thing. But so that is the difference between openEO instance and Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. You can only access the data available in the ecosystem. With openEO platform, it has different backend in the sense different data structure that will fetch the data from different places, whether it be Sentinel, Hub, Synergize, or EUDC, or the Terrascope. However, it works the same. If you want to do it in R, you can use R client, JavaScript client, Python. And I don't want to do any coding. I just want to go for the editor. Then you have this graphical user interface as well. And I hope I will try to cover this in near future, not at this moment. However, maybe I can walk you through how to use one of these APIs, and maybe I can also show you how you can use the other APIs. So if we now move to the third feature or the main component of the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem being application, the main thing we have, as I said, is the Copernicus browser, which is similar or almost similar with the Copernicus Open Data Hub. So as I said, it has been migrated here. So most of the features are same, except that improvement has been done. So you can search the data as much as you want, interact within the platform itself, export subset of the data. You can download the analytic data or just an image to display somewhere in your gallery or something like that, or just a high resolution print. You can just do anything within the browser. I would just recommend you to go there and play around with it. You can also compare the different scenarios, such as in this case, we are trying to visualize the NDVI for that reason over time. You can analyze that, and the best part is you can already download the data. There's also 3D exploration and visualization tool available with it. And also Sentinel Hub API offers you a graphical user interface which is known as a request builder. So it uses something called eval script. I'm also not very much familiar with how the code works, but it is a combination of JavaScript. So if you're very much familiar with JavaScript, then it should be easy for you. And there are already examples available over there. So you can work through it. And again, if you're interested with how to know how Sentinel Hub API, this request builder works, then please reach out to us. We will try to. I want to assure you that we will do it. We will try to arrange a session for you. And as I said, once you log in, by default, you will have an access to the Jupyter Lab environment, where you can directly access the data, all the data with the S3 bucket itself. Apart from that, you also have the different kernels. I will also show you the different kernels that allows you to interact with different APIs. Sentinel Hub and openEO and OSgeo Data API, or the Geoscience API in general. So they are there. I will show you where you can access this Jupyter node. Even if you are not using everything or all the APIs within ecosystem, I would still recommend you go and try out this Jupyter environment. If you are handy with R or Python, I think it is a wonderful platform to go, and it is freely available. So why not to use the resources that is already available? And this is again the openEO, which I already discussed. Here I have shown a screenshot of how you can just bring in the drag and drop the building blocks and just connect it. And I think it would be, I guess I don't know if most of you, I don't know whether most of you are geomatics student or no, because I remember we had a task to do this of building the building blocks and finally getting the task. So it is exactly similar how you do. And as you can see, the batch jobs down here. So batch job in the sense, this manage all your process. So you don't have to think whether there is enough processing unit available in the back end, and you don't have to manage how much it should go at a time or something like that. Everything will be handled for you. You don't have to take that stress. Just think on your research work and do it. Also, we have something called marketplace. It is something that Tech was discussing in the beginning, the EOplaza thing that has now evolved as openEO Algorithm Plaza in the ecosystem. So what I usually like to call this platform is a one-stop shop. One-stop shop in the sense that users can come and use the service that is already there, or user, if they have a good service, then they can say, okay, I have this service and I want to publish it here so that it is widely visible to other users and they can use it. You can do that. That is just knowledge sharing. You can do that. Otherwise, if you say, okay, my service is very much validated, it gives accurate result, and I want to make a profit out of it, then that's also possible. It is called, but it needs to be, as I said, it needs to be properly working or something like that. Yet, if it is not, it should be working somewhere, then you can just share it here. A simple example that I can give is, we have a lot of things for calculating NDVI. Still, there is a service for calculating NDVI. You just go there, click, say, in this area, please give me the NDVI. It gives you an NDVI. That's it. So that is what a marketplace is for. But that is a basic example. In future, it might have different services, like we have a different set of services. So that will again be a differentiation if I go forward. So I will just skip that part. But you have this feature as well in Plaza. So just come along and explore. And this is, as I said, all somebody who want to make business out of it, then it is also possible. That's why it is called third-party service or something. Those were the basic elements within the ecosystem. However, I think there are a couple of additional things that you should also know in addition to those. I already mentioned a lot of things that are freely available data, which because it is mostly funded by EU. So you have this concept of saying, let's go open source in most of the aspects. So most of the thing, it is already available there where you see documentation or openEO API or some of the aspects of Sentinel Hub API. They are openly available over there. So you can just go and explore the code as well if you want to. And yeah, the infrastructure is freely available. However, there are some limitations. Limitations in the sense each users have a limit quota. Because we cannot give, suppose a user comes and say, okay, today I want to process the whole world. And within a day or within a month. So you will be consuming the entire resource if we don't keep a quota as a limitation. That is the purpose why we have introduced a quota here. And I'm not sure if you have been following the OSgeo conversation, but I mentioned this a bit while as well, that there sometime and often whenever there's something happening, then EU usually recommend in increasing the quota. That was the situation in November. So please, still now the quotas freely available are there, but sometimes it can increase for a certain period of time just to let researchers explore out things. For openEO, we are still we used to provide only 1,000 credits for research. However, now it has been increased to 3,000, so you can do multiple work. I hope not business work at this point, I would say. However, you can just go and do the research work with it. But you should also know that, yeah, that part is there. There is also commercial part of it, but don't get confused with it as a commercial thing. Maybe Copernicus is a commercial thing. No, it is not. It is a government project and most of its aspects are open source and freely funded, freely available, whereas there are some parts which we need to provide as a commercial aspect, especially for those organizations who want to take it to a business level. So that is all about the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem features and functionalities and additional. And this is the roadmap that we have in the documentation where I will show you. So please follow this documentation to see a guideline of what might be coming there in future or what are the different improvements that might be happening. So the project started in 2022 November, I guess, and it finished. It was 1 year's period, so it's done. And now it's only about maintaining the APIs and improving them. Data, everything is available there, except for some of the complementary data and the commercial data that will be there with time. However, I recommend you to follow this roadmap so that you can have an overview of different things that might come. As you can see here, we already have something scheduled for January in Stack, openEO, and I think, yeah, it will go on increasing accordingly. You just have to follow. Please stay up to date if you are interested in using all these different kinds of APIs. And as you can see, the level 2 Sentinel, all the products will also be supported. We do have a couple of them now, but still. So as I said, today I talked a lot about many things. And I don't expect that all of you might have remembered everything or now you all know everything about Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. However, I expect that at least you know now what is Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem and what it might hold. So when you dig in deeper, you might encounter issues such as maybe if you are logging into Jupyter Notebook, sometimes it don't open or your files are missing. Why are they missing? So those kind of things and everything, you can always create a ticket. Ticket is what comes. Ticket I don't know. I hope you're already familiar with ticket. So tickets are a kind of a questions provided to the support so that we can circulate it among ourselves. So actually our support team really try to be very much quick as much as possible and try to solve here all the issues within 6 days of time. I think 6 days or of time or 3 working, something like that. However, our support team are every day working. They are dedicated for this. So you can always provide any issue that you face. Suppose you are searching for a data and it's missing from the archive. You can just raise a question, why is the data missing? You look into the documentation and you don't find a section that could be helpful. You can just go and say, this part is not there. It might be helpful. Please improve this, or where can I find this? That is there. However, I also recommend, to be honest, I highly recommend using user forum, especially for the case when you are using APIs. You might encounter several errors, and the error that you encounter, it's not always sure that the error that you have, somebody might already have solved it. That might not be the situation. So in user forum, we actively try to discuss between us and explore what it could be. So I would say user forum is really wonderful place to go forward if you are using APIs and if you are dealing with any programming specs within the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. However, you can also go and post the question there if you don't want to do it through the tickets and everything. So that would more or less summarize the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. That it is the platform where you can find all the Earth observation data spatially related with the Copernicus program itself. It is easy we provide different APIs for data searching and processing it. There are a couple of applications such as browser, marketplace, where you can just not just view your data set, but also can provide your software or algorithm as a service or use others' algorithm as a service. And it's free to use up to specific level, as I mentioned you before. And I assume most of you here attending today are researchers or students. So I would say the quotas that is provided there, it should be more or less sufficient. And to be honest, the reason I'm conducting this session today is I'm already familiar with Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem, and Europe, it is just burning like a topic. Most of them are already using it. But I realized that most of the people in Nepal, they are not quite familiar with it and not using it. For example, Jupyter itself. So Jupyter Notebook is there, and no one knows it, or they are not trying to make effort to know about it, and not using the infrastructure that is freely available. So Jun Kurase was not there for me. So I want you also to have it, to take all this knowledge from different place and take it. That's what I would say. So with that, I would stop, and I think I will go for a short tour for the data space. I will go for a short tour with the data space. I'm really sorry. Just a moment, please. Meanwhile, if you have any question, please drop it in the chat. Otherwise, I am not sure about opening your mic because we already experienced quite some scenarios. So please drop it over there. However, before moving forward with the question and answers, I will walk you through the platform where you can find different features. And I, again, highly encourage you to use the service that is freely available. So, hello, I'm back. Should I start sharing the platform that I was talking about, or do you want me to go through the question first? Can anyone please drop, or no one can drop in the chat? I think, yeah, okay, no one can message, I guess. However, maybe OSgeo Nepal, can you, Chiti's right, can you make sure, should I go for the tour? Okay, thank you, take. Okay, let's go to the platform again. So I'm just showing you a small part of it, okay? I'm not walking you through the entire ecosystem. I'll just show you where you can find a couple of things and how you can get started. However, it is up to you to start exploring about the whole thing. So the URL that you will use would be this. This would be the main platform's URL. So once you enter, this is the place where you can find all the information about the ecosystem. What are the different events happening? What could be there, where you can find us, and all those things. So what are the different? This is up to you. If you're interested in learning, reading the whole thing, then just do. For me, what I'm really interested in is showing you where you can find the browser. A bit about the collections. This is just a general introduction to the collections. This is the browser that we have. And to perform any processing in any platform, whether it be browser or using API, you need to log in. Okay, I will try to be quick. So this is the browser. As you might already relate that this is more or less similar with the Sci-Hub because it is from Sci-Hub. So as you can see, these are the data currently available, and you can explore them. And if you have any questions, just go forward, ask to us or the support desk that I will show you where you can find us. But please feel free to explore the whole thing. And if you are not sure how to explore, then the first thing you can always do is go to the documentation. For documentation, just add the documentation in front of the link that I just shared to you. And this documentation as well, please feel free to provide us with your feedback and everything, because as I said, we are still improving in these things and all our different teams are working on different things. So our support team is trying their best to maintain up with the documentation. However, if you think something is missing, please come back to us. So I had divided my presentation into these 3 feature parts. So you can find what I was talking about in this corresponding section itself. In data, you will find all about data, APIs, all about APIs, and the application is the one where I was talking about the browser. So if you go to browser, here they have properly described what are the different things that you can do. So just explore. It's now, I think, your responsibility to go through it and to learn more about it. So that is about the browser. And as I have been always mentioning, please go to support. Where is it? Then you can see here is the support that includes documentation. All the FAQs is already there. So you can always reach out directly for a ticket. However, make sure that you have gone through the documentation first and there is no solution to it, or you couldn't find a solution to it. And also look through a FAQ if possible. And still, if you cannot find, then go to the user support, where that is the place where you can create a ticket, or go to the community forum where you can create different topics. And you can see there is already a lot of topics ongoing and different people are responding what is happening, this and that. So you can always go forward and do it. Our team, we try our best to be as quick as possible. So if we are not quick here, then please, you can send a ticket. So it's just here, submit a request. This is also already guided in the documentation, and you need to log in and fill up the form, what is your issue and all those things. And then it will send the ticket, which will respond. Then we have APIs. As I was discussing before, the different APIs, a detailed documentation of the APIs are available here in this section. The catalog API, as I already said, OData, open source, and stack. Streamline API, Sentinel Hub, and openEO. There are additional APIs such as on-demand production API and traceability service API. I didn't go in depth about the traceability service API, or neither did I mention in my presentation very well, because I was not sure whether it would be relevant in this group or no. However, this is more about how to track the data products lifecycle and everything. If you're interested in that, in dealing with the track lifecycle of the product, then please go forward and have a look at this, how it works, what is this. all those things. And for Stack, as I said, it is still improving. It is not very up to date. So we are trying to maintain. And yeah, Stack link is also somewhere already specified here. So this is the data space stack URL, which you can try to explore. But as I said, improvement is still ongoing in this part. So that was about API and documentation. Then there is something called data workspace as well, where you can order the data that is not already there, or you can download multiple data that is, yeah. So another way to access it is from browser itself. So you can just say this data, I just want to download. This is also a different way to download after processing and everything like that. So these are the different centers to download. And I know that there are different platforms providing something or the other. It can get confusing, but just get used to one, then I think it will automatically find a route. So it should be fine. Then within the service is the marketplace, as I mentioned. We have the marketplace here where we provide different services. So there's biophysical parameters that with this service, all you have to do is say, I want to access the service with using the Python client library. Python I'm sorry, at this moment, all the service I have added in Python because I'm not good in other programming languages. I'm really sorry. And I'm one of the person responsible for it. And I have published some of the service already in Python. However, if you're familiar with R, or as I said, JavaScript, which is supported in openEO, you can publish it there. I mean, you can publish a UDP, which is a user-defined process, me defining process, serving as algorithm. So you can come and publish that here. So it's fine. Then we can add one more section saying, see my R examples or something like that. Or for those who don't want to go for programming, as I already said, you can just do execute in web editor. So it will lead you to a different platform where you need to connect. You need to specify the time range where you want to calculate the bioparameters, specify the area of interest, and though now it is showing Europe, however, all the data collection that I have discussed so far, they are available for throughout the globe, unless they are specified somewhere within the documentation that, okay, this is only available for Europe, or the other part, except Europe. Unless those kind of things are mentioned, it is available for everywhere except for Sentinel-1, because you might already know the incident that happened with Sentinel-1B. So since Sentinel-1B is not functioning, so at some places it only have one directional data, or at some point there is no coverage. And the other thing is you just select what are the parameter that you want, FAPAR or leaf area index or fcover, anything, and just next, it will run. I'm not doing that for this moment because I'm not logged in and I don't want to process anything. I think I covered more or less. Okay, I haven't shown you the main part that I have been going on talking about. So, as I said, we offer you the Jupyter Hub or Jupyter Lab environment where you can execute all your processes. So I didn't pass through the something called selection of the server. However, you will pass through it. How to deal with all those things, it's written in the documentation. Please go through it. And I'm just showing you the steps that might come in the Jupyter notebook. Okay, for me, it didn't because I have been using this since morning. I'm really sorry about that. However, when you go in, everyone will have these two things, these two folders already in their Jupyter notebook. These are in detail explained in the documentation. However, I'm highlighting here. So different kernels that are available are this: Geoscience, openEO, and Sentinel Hub API kernels, where we have installed the package accordingly required. However, you can install your additional packages as well. And in my storage would be your personal storage. So whatever goes in here, none of the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem would have a look at it or would be responsible for it. That would be private folder for yourself. However, in sample, what you see are all the examples that we have been creating for you so that you can go through it. using the different APIs. So Geo will include all the APIs with the OData API, which is not much populated. However, I'm so sorry. There's not many examples within Geo. Within openEO, we have a couple of examples. As you can see, the basic I can show you is NDVI time series, because we have been discussing a bit about this, of how we can engage OSGeo's participants within this. So yeah, all you have to do is you have to connect within the platform, specify what would be your area, then specify which data you want to use, temporal extent, and the band you want to involve. Then you will just get your NDVI. Here I'm doing band math. However, there is other easier way to do band math, other easier way to compute these indices, which are covered in other examples. But I'm just showing you how you can go through different examples. Similarly with Sentinel Hub, so migrating from Sci-Hub is already there. As I said, if you have already used the Open Access Hub, this notebook covers how you can migrate your different aspects to here. But I am not sure if you already went through this notebook, because the Open Hub is already closed now. So I'm not sure if you can still migrate all your products and everything. However, it is covered here about the same, how you can use the Sentinel Hub API. Similarly, would be the other notebooks that is covering a lot of use cases, such as this ice monitoring, which can already be one of the example or a thesis topic to some of you who might be interested in going deeper into this. So as I said earlier, there is something called eval strip in Sentinel Hub API. So these are all the things that are covered here in this notebook. So I think I talked a lot about too many things. So I'm sorry if it was too much, and I think I took 10 minutes more. Sorry about that as well. I hope I gave you some idea of what it is, and hopefully it was useful. However, please reach out if there is anything else that I can help you with. And I can understand, and you cannot ask question because we have turned off the chat. Nevertheless, please drop all your question in the OSgeo, OSgeo forum or anywhere wherever you want. So over to you, Chitish. Artik.
Thank you very much, Didi, for your wonderful presentation. So feel free to drop any questions if you have in chat, or feel free to unmute if you can, because we had issue during the training. That's why we restrict some of the your access to open the mic or open the video. So if you have any questions, you can also ask in Discord channel. I provide the link to the Discord channel in the our message chat. So just waiting few minutes for question. Maybe I can start with my question. So as you mentioned that Copernicus Data Ecosystem will provide something like 2,000 to 3,000 credit. So how much it will be? Can you a little bit give me an idea, like how much processing I can done within that credit?
So it depends. Can I switch to Nepali, because I don't know if we still have any. Okay, never mind. It depends. It depends upon what you are trying to do. If you are trying to execute a long deep learning process or long, and 2,000 that 3,000 credit is only about openEO, using openEO API. So if you are trying to execute a long process in using openEO API, such as deep learning, and your area is very large, I can imagine it can have a lot of training data. So for that, it might not be sufficient. However, if you request that, okay, I am using this Copernicus data or this Sentinel data for my research work, could you increase? Then there is always a place to increase your credit. Nevertheless, 3,000 is there, and it is like it will be replenished every month. As I said, I cannot specify that, okay, this much area or this much temporal extent. Suppose if you want to download whole Europe, just download the data for a specified extent. then you can do it freely with those 3,000 credit. That's possible. That's just about openEO credit. So we have different quotas processing unit in Sentinel Hub API. So all these quotas are also detailed in documentation. I'm not thoroughly open. I don't know exact number of Sentinel Hub APIs unit, but it is there. And same is with how much amount of data you can download in a day. That is something there, I guess. So you need to follow up that.
So that means, as you said, so all the quota will be renewed every month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Yeah, actually, recently I have like joined the education and research program of Planet, and then they have
Yeah.
also the similar like plan, and I really like the plan because if I cannot like download all the required data set in this month, maybe I can try it in another month because all the
Yeah.
plan are renewed. So that's
Yes,
really
yes.
helpful. Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yes, and since Tech already said, though it is not a part of Copernicus, but I will still के जो पनि student हुनुहुन्छ, I just want to highlight it. I'm sorry, I'm saying in Nepali because there are certain things that I'm restricted to say. तर प्लानेटबाट पनि कति धेरै ट्रेनिङ डेटाको लागि रिसर्चको लागि दो इट इज अ कमर्सियल थिङ इट इज फ्रीली एभाइलेबल त्यही भएर कसैले पनि डेटा पाइन यहाँ त्यहाँ नभन्नुहोस् जानुहोस् सर्च गर्नुहोस् नभए वी आर देयर वी आर अलरेडी engaged in this remote sensing world, or just reach out to us. It's fine.
Yeah.
But having said, I'm really sorry. कसैले पनि आएर दिदी यो डेटा डाउनलोड भएन डाउनलोड गरेर दिनुहोस् न नभन्नुहोस् ल I might not be that much helpful person.
Yeah.
I can show you the way, but yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions? So I have another question as well. For example, while downloading the dataset, I always like face challenges to like remove clouds, shadows, and
Yeah.
those things actually I I have done in Google Earth Engine, and it's still not proper. And some of the
Yeah.
some of the cloud it might appear
I
on
can
the
understand.
download segment. So is there like any way that inside Copernicus data ecosystem so that it will like help to solve those issues?
Mhm. So I remember you even commented in I think Lalit's output on like which data we're using, how do you deal with the cloud, and the best thing at least here is that we have high resolution compared to that, but still, yeah, there can always this cloud related issue. So for some part, as I was showing you earlier, for Sentinel-2, we have something called cloudless mosaic that is prepared. So that can be offered if it is useful. However, it might not. Cloud-based mosaic, mostly we try to make it as immediate data available as possible. So for Sentinel-2, you do have like cloudless mosaic. Other than that, within API, we have something called cloud masking process that is built there. However, I should say that the process is a bit harsh because, yeah, it tries to harshly remove the cloud. So even though there is like slight haze or fog, it will completely remove that section. So that part is there. However, there are even algorithms within the ecosystem. The market list में देखाको पनि जहाँ चाहिँ they try to fuse the Sentinel-2 and Sentinel-1 data so that they can overcome the cloud-related issue, and you already have an advantage of Sentinel-1. That's the thing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's very helpful. We have another question in the chat from Silpa Koirala. She's asking, are all data harmonized before they are published in the data space?
Yes, I would say, because we don't release, as I said, there are level 0 and level 1 data available, but they are restricted. So level 2 data are already done, some processing already are done on them. However, there are products as well, as you can imagine, yeah, they already have gone through a lot of process and they are provided to you as a final product. So for that answer, I would say yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? I'm continually monitoring the Discord channel as well. There is nothing. So yeah, maybe that's all about this training. Thank you very much, Didi, for joining this training as a trainer, as a speaker. And I'm really sorry for all the troubles that we have
I
to
can
go
imagine.
through.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's
yeah,
completely okay. I can completely imagine. Sometimes it happens. So, and also to all the participants, we moved to Google Meet so that you all can come. Thank you so much for coming. But I would also, yeah, recommend you to mostly stick with the Discord channel of OSgeo so that we can make it a bit secure and everything like that.
yeah.
So, but yeah, to all the participants who were here until the end, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, actually in GST or Discord, we have like we have the control and we can like kick them out, or we restrict the user permissions. But here it's really difficult, as
It's
said by
okay.
Kshitij, but
I can completely understand that.
yeah,
It's okay. अनि also sorry है म चाहिँ for all the participants म चाहिँ हल्का छिटो बोल्छु सो कुनै पनि point मैले गर्दा बुझेर confuse भयो भने please write down to me. It's okay. Write to the Discord channel or go and directly write in the Copernicus Data Space Ecosystem. It's completely fine.
yeah. Okay, being said that, so yeah, that's all about today's event, and we'll publish this event after like removing few parts during the event via OSgeo Nepal channel. So thank you all for joining. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Okay.
Yeah. Good evening to everyone. Bye.
Okay.
Good morning to you.
Yeah.
Okay. See you. Bye.
Bye.